Welcome into Wager Talk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Jimmy Adams and Steve Merrill of WagerTalk.com. We're talking some Pac-12 and Big Ten action as the Oregon Ducks visit the Ohio State Buckeyes. Jimmy, coming to you first. We're seeing Ohio State take a little money here. Opened up 2 touchdown favorites. Now we're seeing minus 14.5 mostly. 64.5 now being the total. So some over money as well. Are you liking anything? Oregon and Ohio State Saturday.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. I'm agreeing with the way the money's coming in. Ohio State goes into Minnesota and gets a really good win in a hostile environment last week, 45-31. CJ Stroud, he looked a little nervous in the first half in his first start, which is understandable. He's a 19-year-old kid. He sailed a few passes. But then he really settled down in the second half, made some plays, and they come away with the win in relatively easy fashion. Ohio State just has so many playmakers. I mean, Mayan Williams, he has 9 carries for 125 yards and a TD. Master Teague, and then one of the best wide receivers in all of college football, and Chris Olave. He ends up with 4 receptions for 117 yards and 2 TDs. So then you head over, you look at Oregon, and they really struggled with a good Fresno State team. But I think they're going to really have trouble moving the ball against this defense. It's a huge step up in class as they head over to the Horseshoe. Things you want to keep an eye out for is the status of Kayvon Thibodeau. He got hurt in last week's game, and then also Drew Mathis injured his ankle, I believe. So maybe a little shorthanded or at least banged up on the Oregon side. Pac-12, a down conference, they have trouble a lot of times when stepping up in class with these Power 5 teams. Going over to Ohio State is no easy feat, and I'm looking to lay the points with the Buckeyes in this one.
All right, looking towards the favorite at home. Steve, coming to you next. Jimmy makes some good points there. Oregon a little bit beat up. Pac-12, I don't know. But can they stay within 2 touchdowns is a different question in Columbus on Saturday, Steve.
Yeah, keep in mind that Fresno State had the advantage of having a game under their belt. Granted, they beat a really bad Connecticut team in week 0. They were a 28-point favorite. They won 45-0 back on August 28th. So they did have a nice little edge against Oregon in that regard, as that Oregon had just scrimmaged and practiced all summer long. So I don't want to read too much in to the non-covering win by Oregon last week, as they were an 18-point favorite, only won by 7, as Jimmy said. But they still put up 31 points, had about 360 total yards. They struggled to stop the pass. Some of that came later in the game, but Fresno threw for almost 300 yards through the air on 43 pass attempts. Oregon did shut down the run. So you got to figure Ohio State's going to be able to move the ball. They once again rushed and threw for over 200 each last week in that Thursday night 45-31 win, which, by the way, landed right near the number. They won by 14. That line was 13.5 to 14. Guess what? This week the line opens on that key number of 14, and it instantly early in the week has already gone to 14.5. So critical half-point line move there with Ohio State. The money coming in on the Buckeyes at home. This is an early kickoff, noon Eastern on Saturday, Fox National TV. That's a 9 a.m. Pacific start for Oregon. So I think that's a little bit of edge for the Buckeyes, and being at home, of course. But once again, Ohio State struggled to stop Minnesota last week. They gave up over 200 yards rushing and passing to the Golden Gophers. And this is something we saw last year. Ohio State might be 23-2 first couple years under head coach Ryan Day. There's been no drop-off with the new coaching change. This is a powerhouse program that obviously reloads. But we do have to worry about that defense once again. This is a team last year that, despite winning those first 7 games in a row before losing to Alabama, gave up a lot of points. They, of course, gave up 52 points to Alabama in the championship game. They gave up to 28 in Clemson in the semi. They scored 49 in that game, though. They also, earlier in the season, they gave up 27 to Rutgers, 35 to Indiana. So, I think Oregon could get some points here. The total's around 63.5. We haven't seen much movement. Ohio State's gone from 14 to 14.5, so there's some value has been lost with the favorite. Once again, though, I have yet to see them necessarily stop good offensive teams. I don't know if Oregon qualifies as a great offensive team, but I think they're a good one. And I think the Buckeyes obviously are a great offensive team. Over 63.5 might be worth a look here. Until I see otherwise, I think this Ohio State defense needs to prove something.
Good stuff, Steve. And yeah, guys, we are seeing some over money come in, 64.5 starting to show up as well. So good stuff from Steve Merrill, Jimmy Adams. I am Drew Martin. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the game. Also remember, WagerTalk.com, $2 Tuesdays each and every Tuesday. Top handicappers, top play, discounted to just $2. Great day to check out the site, WagerTalk.com.